Hello, this is Geoff Volker with End Up Studies. Today we're looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14. Now the whole chapter is all about divorce and remarriage, but we're going to look at this particular section where, beginning in verse 12, the Apostle Paul is addressing what happens when a believer is married to an unbeliever. And of course, his answer is you ought not to divorce her as long as the unbelieving spouse wants to remain in the marriage. But if they want to get out of it, you're not supposed to keep them from leaving, let them go. It says you are no longer bound. But in the midst of that, verse 14 says this: "For the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise, your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy." Now, this passage is sometimes used by Presbyterians to defend infant baptism, that children of one or more believing parents are holy in some sense in the eyes of the Lord, covenant children. But I don't think this has anything to do with that. This is simply saying that a marriage between a believer and an unbeliever is still valid in the eyes of the Lord, and that children who come from that relationship are not bastards, but they are legitimate children. And one thing that we should point out, that whatever you're going to say about the children that come from this relationship of a believer and an unbeliever, that they are holy, you must also say of the unbelieving spouse. So if we were using the argument, let's say for Presbyterian, we would say, okay, if this means that children should be baptized, they are holy, then it also means that the unbelieving spouse should be baptized because they are holy. And of course, in this context, holy meaning, the most basic meaning of holy is to set apart for special use. That is, the marriage relationship between a believer and unbeliever is still valid in God's sight, and the children that come from that are still legitimate. Thank you very much. And if you want to see more of Geoff's thoughts, you can go to youtube.com, and there you can subscribe to them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.